Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is Tag Tuesday, and I just so happen to actually be putting out a tag video on Tag Tuesday. So this is somewhat of a momentous occasion. I was tagged today by Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads to do the Resurrected In or Out tag. This tag is about a year old, I believe Greg said. It was originally created by Rick MacDonell. I will link to the original video of this. I will also link to Greg's video that I was tagged in. This is a super relaxed, very fun, very quick tag. There are 26 prompts, which will be answered by either being in or being out. Being in means that I like them, being out meaning I do not like them. So this is a super fun, very, very casual type of tag, which I absolutely love. So jumping right in, number one, reading the last page first. And I am definitely out with this. I know there are a lot of people who enjoy reading the last page first. It's never really made any sense to me. It's never really appealed to me. So I would have to say I am out. Number two, enemies to lovers. I would also say that I'm probably out on this one, just because solely because it's a classic YA and romance trope, and those are two genres that I have not explored at all. I really don't read at all, and so I'm not sure if I do like it or not. So I would say that probably until I prove to myself otherwise, I am out. Prompt number three. Dream sequences. I am definitely in. I think dream sequences could be really, really interesting. The Dream of a Ridiculous Man by Fyodor Dostoevsky is a short story that essentially the entire short story is a dream sequence, and it is very, very powerful. Prompt number four, love triangles. Definitely out. I don't know why, but love triangles are somewhat annoying to me, and I think it's tied in with just not being a huge fan of reading romance or reading about love triangles or other people's love lives. For some reason, it's never appealed to me. Prompt number five is cracked spines, and I am absolutely out on cracked spines. I don't think a spine ever needs to be cracked. There are ways to gently read a paperback without cracking the spine. I have read many, many paperbacks and never had to crack the spine. So anytime in a used bookstore I see a really cracked spine on a paperback, I just don't understand, because there are ways that you don't have to be so aggressive when you read. But I think some people like to be able to really open up the paperback and have it lay flat on a table. But it's something that I will never understand. But I digress and move on to prompt number six, which is back to my small town. And I would say in. I think that I think that when it's done well, I would say I'm in. Prompt number seven is monsters are regular people, and I would definitely say I'm in on this one. I think that again, when it's done really well, it's great. Greg in his video refers to Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I absolutely would agree with him on that point. I just read it this month for the first time, so I would agree with some of the thoughts that he said. Prompt number eight is no paragraph breaks. I would have to say I'm out. I really do enjoy having paragraph breaks just to sort of break up the page. I think it also aesthetically looks really nice to have paragraph breaks on a page. It doesn't affect the quality of the book, but I think it does, at least for me, it does affect the readability of the page. So I would say I prefer to have paragraph breaks. Number nine is multi-generational sagas. I'm definitely in. I think multi-generational sagas are very, very enjoyable. Number 10, rereading. Absolutely in. I actually made a video yesterday, the reread book tag, where I talk about some of the thoughts behind rereading. But I'm definitely in. Number 11, artificial intelligence. I would say I'm in, but I have not read a whole lot. I haven't read a whole lot of science fiction novels that would have an artificial intelligence presence in them, but those that I have read, I have enjoyed, so I would say I am in. And number 12, drop caps. I have to say that I'm probably out on drop caps. I don't know why. I think that they do look nice on a page. They do look sort of artistic on a page, but I've never really understood the appeal of them. I think that it kind of, the way it squishes down the text around the drop cap, it sometimes can look clumsy to me. So I will say that I am in when it's done well, and I'm out when it's done poorly, if that makes sense. Prompt number 13 is happy endings. I would say I am in if it does not feel forced, and if it is a natural happy ending. I would be out if it is a forced, artificial feeling happy ending, because then I'm just annoyed. Prompt number 14 is plot points that only converge at the end. I would say I'm in, again, if it's done well. I think having sort of lots of loose strands going throughout a novel, and then at the very last second they all converge and come together, can be really interesting, as long as the author is able to pull in all of the plot points in a well manicured way. If there are some that are sort of left hanging, then it can be a little bit irritating. Prompt number 15 is detailed magic systems, and I would have to say that I'm out. That's just because I don't read a whole lot of fantasy. I'm not a big fan of sort of very complicated fantasy, and I don't really know why. I haven't read a whole lot of it, but I have trouble falling into those types of stories and connecting with those types of world systems. I'll have to keep giving it a try, but for now, I would say I am out. And number 16 is classic fantasy races. And I would say that I am in. If we're talking classic fantasy races, such as the races that we see presented in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, that type of fantasy world, then absolutely. 17, unreliable narrators. I would say I am in. I think an unreliable narrator is fascinating. 18, evil protagonists. And again, I think I would say I'm in on this. I have not read a whole lot of books that have an evil protagonist. I've only read a handful, but I do think it's very interesting. Prompt number 19, the chosen one. I would have to say that I would be out on this particular trope. 20, when the protagonist dies. Absolutely in. I think that when a protagonist dies in a novel, it is incredibly interesting. And it adds a whole nother layer to a story. 21, really long chapters. I would have to say that for classics, I am in. When it comes to historical nonfiction and works of nonfiction in general, I think I prefer a slightly shorter chapter. I don't know why. I don't have a great reasoning behind that, but just from my experience of reading both long and short chapters in both genres, for some reason in the classic I can really appreciate a long chapter, and in a work of nonfiction I want a more concise, shorter, punchier chapter. Let's see. 22 is French flaps. Absolutely in. I love French flaps. 23 is Deckled Edges. Again, absolutely yes, I am in. I think a deckled edge and a French flap, both on a paperback, elevates it beautifully. 24, signed copies by the author. I would say I'm out, not because I am opposed to signed copies by authors, but just because I personally don't own any signed copies in my collection, and for some reason it's never really been a big goal of mine to get a book signed, or to get or to go to a signing. I think if there was a signing nearby of an author that I admired, I would absolutely go, but it's not something that I am sort of breaking my neck to get to. 25 is dog earring pages. This is something that I used to be completely out on, but recently I have started to see a bit more of the value in it. It still hurts me to say that I'm in on it. I think it depends on the book. If you purposely buy a used book to highlight and to dog ear, I would say I'm in, but I would never dog ear a book that I want to sort of keep really nice for a long time. And then finally, 26 is chapter titles instead of chapter numbers. And I think I would have to say, I think I would have to say I'm out. I think I prefer chapter numbers. And I think that's just because I feel that chapter titles can be sometimes ill-fitting of the chapter, or sometimes just so sort of unrelated to the chapter that it just seems like wasted, like wasted words on the page. When they're done really well, I think they're great, but I think I would have to say I prefer chapter numbers versus chapter titles. And again, it's just sort of from experience. I don't have a great backing to why I feel that way, but for some reason, I think I just prefer chapter numbers. And that is the final prompt of the in or out tag. Greg, if you're watching this, thank you very much for tagging me. I really appreciate it. Because this is such an old tag, I am not going to tag anyone specifically, because most of the people I was thinking about tagging have already done this tag. But if you are watching this video and you have not done this one yet and it looks fun to you, please do it. I would love to see your answers. I think this is a really fun, it's very casual, very laid back, relaxed tag, which is so wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you would like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.